Welcome to episode 12 of Two Guys One Sport. My name is Chris.
Welcome back to Friday nights. I'm going to spare you all my impression of Rebecca Black's Friday.
Please, dear God, don't ever do that.
But we're back on our normal slot, Fridays at 9, 8 Central. 90 minutes of awesome wrestling action with two great avatars. We have Chris's avatar of three Joshi chicks who kick ass and take names, and my avatar of Jushin Liger giving what I believe is Matt Jackson, because those sideburns to die for. The one finger salute.
Yeah, I mean, you started off with Triple H and his weightlifting routine, and then went to Liger. I started out with the Shield, then I went to Tozawa, and now I've got the Freedom.
I got a few more in the bag. I got a few more that I'm going to swap out. They're sitting on the work computer. Every time I see a cool picture, I just kind of put it in a folder at the work computer, and I'll change it out in a couple weeks. But I figure while Liger's in the Super Juniors, which we'll talk about, you can leave him up for a little bit.
Yeah. At some point, you know that GIF of Roman and Seth on the outside, and Seth is like selling some injury, and Roman just points to the ring and goes, "No." I want to put the image of Roman pointing to the ring with that.
Oh yeah.
That's my avatar, because that's
would be the gif of Seth just in the background smirking when Roman's talking.
Oh, that gif will never die.
No, that one's pretty great.
All right, so we've
match
got
the week.
Yeah, let's just jump right in. You've got a show.
I have a show actually. Because last night I was at AEW. Rare Thursday night show for AEW. We've talked about them before. They're at this point basically PWG North. They are a super indie. They put together dream cards, and this was no exception. I want to talk real briefly because I don't want to monopolize this. Chris, I get the feeling that a huge part of indie wrestling is going to be "fuck you, Randy" chants.
Oh yeah,
because they happened last night, and I got a little bit of a problem with them. Not with the chants per se. Not with the chants. The chants are fine. I'm gonna call out Jake Christ of OI4K.
Okay.
Now, if you don't know, OI4K is a stable of independent wrestlers from Ohio. It stands for Ohio is for Killers, led by Sami Callihan. Jake Christ is part of this stable. They are dastardly heels. They do heelish things. At the end of this show, Christ and Callihan tried to unmask both Rey Fenix and Juventud Guerrera. These are not good guys. I want to be explicit when I say that. So Jake Christ was in an undercard fatal four-way match with Myron Reed, Joey Janela, and his amazing, amazing body hair, and the Laredo Kid. So it was a four-way spot fest of just flippy guys doing flippy shit. Fine, whatever. Not my favorite thing, but whatever. Who doesn't enjoy a good spot fest every now and again?
Yeah.
Everyone does a bunch of dives, right? You see where this is going.
Okay.
Even Jake Christ's heel manager does a cool-looking somersault dive off the top rope. So Jake Christ does one of those bounce off the ropes and jump off the ropes, flippy dive to a bunch of guys standing there on the bottom, right? He gets up. Now, this is the heel, okay? He gets up. He gets in the ring. He gets to the top rope, does the Randy Orton arm pose.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Everyone
God.
starts chanting, "Fuck you, Randy." Okay? This motherfucker encourages the chants. Okay? Bitch, you're a heel. What are you doing?
I mean,
you know what he should have done? The Kevin Owens fake the dive, run to the ropes, and then stop, and then point to his head and shake no, then do the Randy Orton pose for the heat. But I guess it's way more important to give a middle finger to Randy Orton while you're standing there in an armory than it is to actually get real honest to God heel heat. I hate to come off like Rip Rogers here. I really do. But, I mean, can we at least try? Can we really make an effort to get real heat? It's not that hard. Come on, people. It's not that difficult. Try and get actual heat. Oh, that was my little thing. Real quick, Keith Lee and Donovan Dijak. We talked about this before. Keith Lee is the coolest mofo on the face of the earth.
Yes.
He was slinging merch and taking pictures of everyone, shaking everyone's hand, basically running for office, asking people how they were doing. So about 10 minutes before the show starts, he closes up his little kiosk at the table. He goes to other wrestlers as they were selling merch and asks them how they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
He then goes to fans in the crowd waiting for like a burger or getting their seats and asks them how they were doing and thanking them for showing up. Keith Lee, you're the coolest guy in the world and you're an awesome wrestler. I wish nothing but success for you no matter what you do, and I hope it's wrestling because you're freaking great at it. He's great. Donovan Dijak and he had a war. Keith Lee, did he do the little double hand slap thing with you? Where he basically does, oh my God, he does this thing with Dijak where I wish I had a camera. You know how he does it? You do a chop, but you do it with one arm and you slap the guy? He does it with both arms, and it makes this cute, awesome noise, and poor Dijak's chest was all red.
Yeah, I don't think he could have done that with David Starr on the show. I saw him because David Starr is a tiny human being.
No, Donovan Dijak is not a tiny human being. These guys had a great match. Jack Swagger was there against Big Mike Elgin. Now, I've sung the praises of Big Mike Elgin. Ever since he's gone to New Japan and he's teamed up with Tanahashi. Although a Big Mike Takahashi team would be awesome. Big Mike just looking as Catman licks the belt and then the two of them wrecking stuff would be actually pretty great.
I'd pay money for that.
So would I. But ever since he's gone to New Japan, it's like he's gone to finishing school because he's gotten way better at this whole wrestling gimmick. Mm-hmm. And we said that about AJ Styles, and we're saying that about Big Mike. And obviously Big Mike's not AJ Styles. Let's be fair. But these guys go to New Japan, and it's like the little stuff falls into place for them. Mm-hmm. Big Mike is selling better. He's working better. He's not just going through the motions and putting together spot after spot. He's telling stories in the ring. And this was no exception with Jack Swagger. Once Swagger got his sea legs under him, so to speak, he really kind of got rolling. And Jack Swagger, if you had never seen him in real life, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
I'm a shoot 6'4", as I like to say. He's like eye level with me, and he's just broad. I mean, the singlet kind of hides it with the WWE. I know you picture him in the singlet, but he was wearing the Brock Lesnar shorts and knee pads and no shirt, and he's just big. He's got big arms, big shoulder, big back, big core, just a big man. Just a big, strong country boy, you know what I'm saying? And he was picking up and throwing around Mike Elgin like it was nothing. Yeah. And I'm optimistic for the Jack Swagger Indie Tour because, like I said, once he figured out what he was doing in the ring, he got his sea legs under him, the two of them had a really good match.
Yeah.
Would recommend this show when it comes out. Lee Dijak was awesome. Mm-hmm. Swagger Big Mike was awesome. Sami Callihan, Juventud Guerrero was about as great as you can expect those two to have. They did beat the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Fun show as always. I want to give all the props in the world to AEW. $30, third row seats, good people, not just because they follow me on Twitter, but actual good people. That was my show of the week. Get real heat, Jay Chris. Otherwise, a lot of fun. Brother Chris, I'm going to eat some French fries and listen to your show of the week.
Yeah. I was before we get into my show of the week, I'm just going to say we've officially entered the Summer of Graps, and it's pretty likely that our episodes this summer are going to have a lot more show recaps than matches of the week because, I mean, you've got AAW and they do pretty frequent shows. I'm guessing that you're going to be going to on a somewhat regular basis.
Yeah, the next one, by the way, real quick, Saturday the 6th, 17th, already signed War Machine versus the team of Jeff Cobb and Bro.
Yeah, you're
damn right. I'm going to be in the audience for that one.
Yeah, and then I've got Evolve 87 the following weekend. I think June 25th, and then in August, it's August 12th, I believe it is Progress making their debut show in New York.
That'd be so great.
And Evolve 91 the same day, and I'll be at both of those too. So that week, the following week's podcast, I'll have a double show recap. I'm probably going to be gushing.
You can have the whole slot. That's great. There are going to be two great shows, and I'm very jealous for you.
Yeah, I'm going to be gushing about that Progress show, I'm sure. Hopefully, get to see Tony Storm live and in the flesh. But anyway, my match of the week. So last week we talked about the Lucha Underground. Pentagon Dark versus the members of the Stardom Freedom that are in my avatar there. And given that it was announced last week that Io Shirai signed with WWE, I got onto a bit of a kick with these three and decided while I was thinking about my matches of the week for today, said, you know what, screw it. Let's just do another another Stardom Freedom match or associated match. So 12 days ago, May 14th, Stardom ran a show at Karakin Hall that had two matches that were of incredible significance. And I knew as soon as I was done watching them that both of them were going to end up being matches of the week on the podcast. I'm going to end up doing the other one later on, but tonight we're going to talk about the beginning of the Kairi Hojo farewell tour in Stardom, where here at this show at Karakin Hall, she faced Mayu Iwatani for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, the precious white belt. And this was, I believe, Kairi's 9th defense of the belt. This match, this was what you would expect your matches to be, like a typical bomb throwing match, a lot of big spots and things. But the important thing to note about this is that Hojo and Iwatani have known each other for a very long time. They've teamed together. They've been in trios together. They have very strong knowledge of what each other can do, and this match was all about avoiding each other's lethal finishers. Kairi Hojo has the world famous diving elbow drop, and Mayu Iwatani has an amazing looking bridging dragon suplex, which if you ever need a clinic on how to properly do a dragon suplex, watch a Mayu Iwatani match, because it is a thing of beauty. So just a lot of great mat work at the start, a lot of strong strike exchanges, some really cool looking submissions. Both Mayu and Kairi are both very underrated as submission artists, but they've really been they've really been working on upping their game in all aspects of things. I think Kairi, especially because she knows in WWE she's really going to have to show all aspects of her performance, and so she brought it in this match, and Mayu did too. I mean, they both brought out the best in each other, and it came down to towards the end. Kairi finally got Mayu down. She rolled her over onto her stomach, went to the top rope, and hit the diving elbow drop right to the right square in the top of her back, right between her shoulder blades. But Kairi being Kairi and knowing Mayu as she does, and knowing how tenacious Mayu is, I mean, Mayu is AJ Styles level of impossible to keep down in terms of, kicking out of things. Not quite John Cena level, but AJ Styles level for sure. So Kairi rolls her back over onto her back and goes back up again for another diving elbow drop. And as soon as she jumps up in the air, Mayu gets the knees up, and Kairi gets hit right in the side of her solar plexus with the knees and is incapacitated. The two of them both, down, in ridiculous amounts of pain, and then comes back to the other corner of the ring, and Mayu hits the double stomp in the corner, picks her up, bridging dragon, and we have a new Wonder of Stardom champion. 364 days after Kairi had won it. So yeah, 1 day short of a full year holding the Wonder of Stardom championship. And as I said, actually it was her 10th defense. No. It's because the first match was her winning it from Santana Garrett May 15th of last year, and she had nine defenses, 8 successful, and then finally lost in her 9th defense to Mayu Iwatani. And as we talked about last week, this is probably going to be her gold watch run with the white belt, as she is headed for retirement later this year. And Kairi is also, as we said, on her way out to WWE.
Minus elbow drop, which is still a tragedy.
Well, apparently that's now in question, and people are saying that good old Davey Hammercurls got worked horribly because of what happened this week on NXT with Mr. Patrick Clark, now redubbed as the Velveteen Dream, throwing out a diving elbow drop as his finisher.
Eric Young has the diving elbow too, so maybe it's different for men. I don't know. Either way, I got problems with this Velveteen Dream shit, but whatever. It's not really worth getting into.
Yeah, of things to be unhappy about.
It's low on the totem pole.
It's and we're gonna have you got a rant today.
I do. When we get to SmackDown, when we get to the main roster, you want to do NXT first?
Oh yeah, we definitely got to talk about the good things first.
Yeah, when we get to SmackDown, I have words for SmackDown, but let's talk about how unbelievably great Takeover Chicago was. And I'd be way more pissed that I wasn't there if the lady hadn't come over at like 10 o'clock that night and we watched The Crown. And by the way, The Crown, quite good. If you have Netflix, check it out.
Yeah.
Excellent show.
I mean, who doesn't have Netflix at this point? I mean,
if you don't have it, borrow it from someone.
Yeah. The wonderful thing about Netflix is you can borrow it from someone.
Exactly. We don't go into real life stuff, quote unquote, all that often, but would recommend The Crown. Quite enjoyable. John Lithgow as Winston Churchill is a hoot. The show is pretty great. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Takeover. Yeah. 5 matches, all of them rocked in some form or fashion.
Yes. Let's start off. Let's just go right in order.
Sure.
Starting off with our good friend and newly minted babyface of the promotion, Roderick Strong, facing off against Eric Young of Sanity.
I had a small problem with this finish. Roddy Strong won clean, by the way. I love that he came in through the crowd and took out Sanity's goons early. Because just because you're babyface doesn't mean you're stupid, or at least it shouldn't mean that you're stupid. Far too many babyfaces act dumb because they'd rather be brave and valiant than smart. I like that Roddy Strong wasn't dumb, and he tried to do what he could to negate the quote numbers game model as soon as he could.
Dat numbers game.
That numbers game. I don't think I think I would have had him chase a little bit, but they're clearly positioning him for bigger and better things than Sanity, who are clearly just upper mid-card heels at this point. So Roddy's got the rocket strapped to his behind and launched bigger and better things. The match itself was pretty great. For me I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Eric Young is still not very great, but in a well laid out match against a guy who can carry him a little bit, he's more than good enough to do the job.
Yeah, Sanity for me right now, it seems like what's going to end up being the case with them, and I think that this is probably the right way to go about it, is one member is going to be the focus of a big thing, and the rest of them are going to kind of just be gatekeepers and
Nikki Cross.
Background presence. Oh, Nikki Cross, absolutely. With the match that she had, which we'll talk about in a little bit, she's absolutely the focus right now, and rightfully so, because she is definitely the member of the Sanity that has the most upside in this current moment.
Yeah,
I liked that Roddy won, and I liked that Roddy won with so it's a non-typical fuck finish of a roll up followed by a beatdown, which is the kind of thing that I was expecting if Roddy was going to win. He won with End of Heartache and then got the hell out of there, and that was that. And I like that. I like that a lot. And I think that this is also a good way for them to kind of position him as being kind of I hate to put it in these terms, but I'm sure our brother Mr. Tierney will appreciate this. They're positioning Roddy as being a major upgrade from Ty Dillinger.
Yes.
In terms of work and intelligence and just general presentation.
By the way, random aside, I love how Ty Dillinger has the exact same role on the main roster he had in NXT.
Oh yeah.
Hey, more power to him. He's getting that paycheck. Get that paper, dollar bills, y'all, or in his case, Canadian dollar bills, y'all. So
does anybody know the actual name for Canadian currency? I don't even know.
It was Canadian dollars. Let's see.
Yeah, it might be Canadian dollars.
I think it's Canadian dollars. They appropriate everything else from us. Why wouldn't they? No, we love them. Except this time of year when they all bandwagon on the last Canadian team to win this, to make the Stanley Cup Finals, and now this year they don't have anybody because they're so thirsty. Because Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup since '93. So every time the last Canadian team is last in the tournament, it's a bracket. Everyone in Canada, not everyone, a lot of Canadians bandwagon on him because they're so damn thirsty to win a Stanley Cup that they don't care that they don't normally care about the Ottawa Senators. So they're all become Ottawa Senator fans, including the Prime Minister, because breaking news, people, politicians like to pander, regardless of country or political party or ideology. The one thing they love doing is pandering.
Hey, listen, I won't lie. And my sister probably is going to point and laugh at me, but I was really hoping that the Senators were going to knock the Penguins out because I just hate Sidney Crosby that much. But that's besides the point.
Now I got to cheer for Nashville. So it is the Canadian dollar.
All right then.
Good to know. So in this podcast, we've talked about the crown and Canadian currency. I love it.
And hockey too.
And hockey. We're spraying all fields. I love it.
Yeah, and we really haven't managed to get a handle on this whole tangent thing that we talked about last week.
But I'm going to steer it back. Brother Chris.
So the best match on the card.
Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. Great match.
Best match on the card.
Match.
I
went the full 5 stars. I will
go on record right now and say this. If we were going to do Observer Report awards for the half-year mark, there is no doubt in my mind that this match is going to be the best match of the first half of 2017 for main roster WWE and maybe all of wrestling. Like there have been some great matches.
On my ballot, it is third in the entire world right now on the best matches of 2017.
Yeah,
behind the match I talked about a month ago. What the fuck's his name?
Naito
Tanahashi. And Tanahashi. Thank you, Naito and Tanahashi, because I fully acknowledge I am the only person in the world who loves that match as much as he does. But that match hit me right in the wrestling sweet spot, and it told an unbelievable story. And it happened to be pretty great too. That match is number 1 on my ballot. And again, I fully acknowledge that's not a quote head pick. That's a heart pick, but it's my ballot, so all y'all can go to hell. And number 2 is AJ Styles versus John Cena at the Rumble. And this is a very close number 3.
Yeah. So, this was an incredible match. This was
unbelievable, man. I went the full 5 stars. I like this match more than I liked the main event of the Tokyo Dome. I like this match more than I liked Shibata and Okada, excuse me. And we raved about that match, did we not?
Oh, yeah, we did.
I like this match more than I liked Naito and Big Mike, which was also unbelievable.
Yeah.
I like this match more than I liked Keith Lee and Donovan Dijak for Mania Weekend, which was also unbelievable. This match was so great. I cannot think of a single thing I would do to make this match better.
Yeah, better than Naito Juice, better than both of Omega and Ishii's meetings. This was a fantastic.
I cannot think of a way to make this match any better. And props to my brethren in the crowd. You all did your job. You made these guys look like stars, because this was the first time really since the UK tournament that these wrestlers were on a quote main WWE program.
Yeah.
And the crowd, instead of just being lost, carried the action. They did lots of cool chants, not like progress chants. Let's not be too hasty.
Yeah, but
they made these guys look like a big. They made these guys look like a big deal.
Yeah,
these guys delivered, and I love Tyler Bate. Pete Dunne's the real deal.
He is, absolutely.
And Tyler Bate's excellent, but Pete Dunne is just next level.
Yeah. Tyler Bate's
the real deal.
Tyler Bate's 20 years old. He's got an incredible future in front of him, and he's proven. I mean, between this run in WWE and what he does in Progress, he's proven he has a great command of pulling off both sides of the alignment scale, and he's a phenomenal wrestler in the ring. Great with psychology, great with performance. But Pete Dunne, this dude is next level. He is absolutely phenomenal, and
he's the real deal.
He's
what, 23?
Yeah, he's 23, and everything about his execution has the veteran presence of someone with 10 years his age.
Absolutely, he nails all the little things.
Yeah,
which you can't teach. I mean, you can't teach that. You can't teach being a certified G. You can't teach being 7 foot tall, and you can't teach the little things. And Pete Dunne nails the little things.
Yeah, it's incredible what he's capable of doing at 23 that somebody like a Ty Dillinger can't do at the age of 36, or however. I think he's 36.
We say this all the time. You either have it or you don't, and Pete Dunne has it. He has it. Whatever you define it as in a ring, that thing that makes people connect to wrestlers,
Mhm.
that the all-timers all have, and the almost all-timers all don't have, which is why they're almost all-timers and not all-timers. Pete Dunne has. Now, I don't know if Pete Dunne can get to those all-timer levels. There's a lot of future in front of him, and a lot can happen.
Yeah,
but he's on the path, is all I'm saying. He's
Yeah.
got it. He connects. People connect to him, and that's so important in this business.
You mentioned the crowd making them look like stars, and our good friend, the Fighting Irish, brought up in the live thread that she doesn't think that the match would have worked as well at Full Sail, and you're absolutely right. I mean, you look back at
correct.
You look back at the matches that these guys had when they actually were on NXT tapings, and the Full Sail crowd was doing their typical Full Sail crowd shit, and it's stupid because we should know what to expect from the Full Sail crowd at this point. They're terrible, but the crowd at the takeovers, they fucking get it.
Props to my city men and county men for doing a great job.
And women. City women.
Absolutely. Well, one of my best friends from the office was there, and he was just like, George, this atmosphere is unbelievable. And I wish they could have carried it to the next night, but to be fair to them, the show the next night was nowhere near as good. So I'm going to give them a bit of a pass. But yeah, I loved this match so much. Again, I went the full 5 stars. It's third on my ballot for a half year. And it'll probably fall down a little because I expect the G1 to have the usual smattering of awesome matches because that's what the G1 does.
Yeah,
but for now, May 26th, this is the third best professional wrestling match I've seen this year.
Yeah, and like I said, this is easily the best match from any level of WWE programming for the first half of 2017, and may end up being, in my opinion, I mean, Cena Styles, definitely you could make a case for that, but in my opinion, this eclipses Cena Styles.
I won't argue with that, and I was in the building for Cena Styles, so I could be very biased with that. I still haven't actually seen it on the broadcast, so I probably need to do that again next time I have 40 minutes to kill or whatever. Maybe I'll show the lady that match because that's a good intro match because one guy's clearly a heel, one guy's clearly a face.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that really brought down this match in terms of the live broadcast is that Nigel McGuinness was very clearly carrying along Jim Ross because Jim Ross really seemed a little bit lost on the commentary to some degree. And I mean, I can't blame him. The guy doesn't really call UK style, strong style wrestling very much. So I mean, I thought Nigel did an admirable job. He was very good. Yes.
I'll say that. I didn't notice Jim Ross being as lost as he is sometimes on the New Japan shows. I don't know if you watched the New Japan.
It's definitely not
didn't
as bad
seem,
as New Japan, but he still was not quite.
I didn't know. I won't argue with that because based on what we know about Jim Ross at this point, but I thought Nigel was excellent. I thought he brought his working shoes on as well on the broadcast. I thought a Nigel Michael Cole team would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, like they had at
the UK tournament.
Yeah.
Asuka killed 2 chicks and killed the division.
Yeah.
Killed the division dead. And that's okay, though. We're getting Ember Mood, Asuka, and it's going to be great. So I get why they did it. I mean,
it was still a great match.
It was a great match. A little too WWE triple thready where one person's on the outside selling, 2 people are going at it. And then someone else was on the outside and sells for a little bit, and 2 more go at it, and they rinse and repeat till we get to the finish. But that's how their triple threats go. Yeah. That's how they put them together, so I get it. All in for Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross continuing their little feud after this whole taping thing.
The only thing that I'm not really a fan of from that match is that Asuka pinned both of them. That was like, okay, we get it, WWE. You're making her look like a fucking monster. You don't have to. You're laying it on really goddamn thick here.
This company doesn't do subtle. We talked about this.
Yeah, subtlety of an asteroid.
Yep.
Yeah. I was described once in college as having the subtlety of an asteroid. That is the applicable description for WWE as well.
I like it.
It's terrible, but it's true.
I like
it. But hey, I mean, it's a good way to bridge the gap because I mean they have a lot of tape time to cover.
Like 9 weeks or something, right?
Yeah. And you also have the Mae Young Classic happening during that time too. So there's going to be a lot of building up of women's wrestling in NXT in the coming weeks. So for sure you can bet that I'm not going to spoil anything that happened from yesterday's NXT tapings, but suffice to say that they have a lot that they need to kind of flesh out, but they're gonna tell some good long form stories, and that's something that we've been talking about. Sal WWE has the subtlety of a supernova. That's even better.
True.
I like that one better.
Truth.
But the women's side for the NXT has some good long form stories to come, and as we've seen lately, NXT has done a lot better with that. So I'm sure that they'll give us a good thing leading into what is the kind of clear end game of Asuka versus Ember Moon at Takeover Brooklyn 3, which
the whole match is being centered around can Ember hit the Eclipse?
Yeah, I'm hoping
a moment
to hit. I want to be in the building for that. I really do. I mean, tickets haven't gone on sale yet, and I'm sure that as soon as they do go on sale, they're going to sell out in 30 seconds.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna try so hard.
I am not sold on Ember Moon, the promo. I don't think she'll ever be good on the stick. I think at best she can be good enough because she's so otherworldly in the ring.
I'm gonna be honest. I liked her promo from NXT this week. I know not everybody did.
I didn't dig it. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I'm. That could be me, but you don't have to be an all-star on the mic to get over.
No,
especially in NXT, because Finn Balor did,
and Bailey
did, and 100% Bailey did.
Sami Zayn,
Shinsuke Nakamura did. Those guys are not all-stars on the mic by any stretch of the imagination. Although I like Sami Zayn, actually. Yeah. I shouldn't say that. Sami Zayn cuts a good babyface promo.
He has his moments.
Yeah,
there are some moments where he certainly is lacking, but he definitely has some moments.
He's not 2005 JBL or anybody who's just one of the all-timers, But you can get over with your in-ring ability in NXT much more than you can in the main roster. But the main roster is miles for her. She's going to be the NXT ace of the women's division for a while.
Yeah.
That's actually... Which should be a lot of fun, actually. I'm looking forward to a new ace of the women's division.
Caitlin bringing up a good point in the live thread also. Drawing the comparison of Ember Asuka to Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada.
Ooh.
Kenny and Ember both, where if they hit their finishers, it's over.
Mm-hmm. By the way,
very true.
Still don't know if Kazuchika Okada can kick out of a one-winged angel because he's never had to.
We're going to find out.
Story B. What do you think? G1 for that? Maybe Dominion,
no,
right?
That's Dominion is when the rematch is happening.
No, that's going to be, 2 weeks? So 12, right? Yeah.
Dominion 6/12. Yeah,
it's been a little bit of a lull in New Japan lately, but we have Dominion, and then around the corner is the G1. And if you are a wrestling fan, there's no better time than the G1, than that month of just unbelievable match after unbelievable match.
There's no better time to sign up for New Japan World also.
Yes. New Japan World. Highly recommended. 999 yen a month, which is like $8 American or something.
Yeah. Then we had the NXT title match.
I like this match.
Bobby Roode and Daniel Tommy. Yeah.
First of all, this was the Tommy's best match in NXT by miles. Second of all, he's got some issues. He missed that little back heel kick, and I just felt so sad. As someone who used to watch him in Noah, he missed that. I was like, oh, Hideo. I think a heel turn will do wonders for him.
Well, that's
what we got.
That's what we seem to be in the midst of. If you didn't catch the post-show, the Fallout videos on YouTube or other social media platforms, Tommy had himself a little bit of a temper tantrum in the locker room and had to be calmed down. Well, not really. Our good friend Cassius Ohno tried to calm him down, and Tommy responded with a string of censored expletives.
So Japanese.
Yeah.
I like this match. I thought Bobby Roode's selling was. Bobby Roode gets a lot of shit. I'm a fan of his because I'm a fan of that style. I like Triple H. I like Randy Orton. I like the methodical heel style of wrestling. It's something that appeals to me. As someone who's watching a lot of mid-'80s wrestling as of late, it's something that was really prevalent back then. Maybe I grew up with it. It kind of rubs off on me. I thought his selling of the shoulder was on point. Not as great as Randy Orton's selling of the shoulder, as we'll get to later. But I thought him trying to hit the DDT and being unable to because Itami worked the shoulder over and then gutting down and getting it at the end was a little too baby-facey. You know, I don't want my heel being the one overcoming adversity, but we give so many guys shit for not selling on offense. When someone finally sells on offense, I'm not going to give him shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be grateful.
Tommy sold on offense too.
Absolutely, he did. This was a good match. This was a good classical match.
It's a good psychology match.
Telling a story.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, for two guys who were both over 35, you know, they kept it in their wheelhouse. Worked out well. You know, where they go from here seems to be pretty clear. We seem to be headed to a Tommy Cassius Ohno feud, and Rude has a number of different possible challengers, but it looks like Roddy Strong is going to be the most likely of the potential challengers to come.
I'm okay with that. Roddy Strong is good enough of a wrestler that he can carry Bobby Roode to a 4-star match without breaking a sweat.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, we have to talk about this. Everybody's going to be upset. I know that Sal is probably going to mute this because he hates this, but we have to talk about the second vile betrayal that has happened in WWE this year. And it was vile. In all the ways that made it even worse than the Festival of...
That was your friend, you fucker. You fucker. That was your friend. He jumped in front of a ladder for you.
Lost a tooth, too.
Yeah.
Very clearly lost a tooth.
He did.
DIY versus
second
AOP.
Tag team the Authors have almost injured. Maybe we need to start giving them the Reckless label.
No, I mean I can't fault them for this because I mean it's a freaking ladder, and they've never been in ladder matches before. Do you really think that they have like? I mean, you can practice all you want, but when you're in the heat of the moment and the real thing is, I mean, we're not talking about Edge and Christian here or the Hardy Boys who were in ladder matches for their entire careers. This is their first time, and these are two giant dudes who, you know, this is their first time. I'm not giving them the Reckless label yet. I'm not going that. And maybe a little bit of that is my marking out for the AOP, but I'm not willing to put that label on them yet. But
I will. I don't care. No, I'm just playing. It's wrestling. Guys get hurt. Guys get hurt. Like it is. You try to protect yourself. You try to protect your opponent at all times.
Yeah.
But guys get hurt. It sucks. Believe me. I was in a match a year ago where Donovan Dijak tried his little springboard moonsault. He does like a line salt, but from the apron to the floor instead of from the ring to the middle of the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he tries this lion salt, and his feet tangle up in the ropes, and he lands straight on his head on hardwood floor. Yeah. Guys get hurt. Badly. It just looked bad. I mean, I've been to matches. I was in a match at AEW when Mustafa Ali did a dive on the barricade and was concussed and had to be stretchered out of the match. Like, it sucks. It sucks ass.
I remember
guys get hurt, and there's nothing really do about it.
The one Lucha Dragons match when Kalisto and Sin Cara both did dives to the outside, but Sin Cara's foot got caught in the ropes and he basically face planted on the floor, and I was just like, ah!
Remember when Sin Cara blew his shoulder out in mid-match and kept going? Like, guys get hurt.
Same thing with Finn Balor. Yeah. Like I watched Finn Balor
back in place and keeps going.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, he's gonna do what I used to do when I chronically dislocated my shoulder for 8 years. Stop it, Finn! Don't do it. It's the worst thing to do.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? You're in the moment, and you have to be a little nuts to be a professional wrestler. And you have to be a little nuts to be a professional wrestler and be as small, relatively speaking, as Johnny Gargano is, and feud with the big boys for as long as he has.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but that's the business that we love. And props to the men and women who put their bodies on the line to make us jump up and down.
Yeah, and this match, I mean, this was
a good match. The Authors are still pretty green, especially in this environment, but they were more than capable. Paul Ellering took a nasty-looking super kick and sold it for the entire match, which was great.
Yeah, I mean, they say that you don't forget.
He's my dad's age, and I don't even want my dad mowing the lawn at this point. Much less doing anything involved in a ring. So this match was good. I am of two minds, though, brother Chris.
One, please.
One, I have no doubt that an NXT Gargano Ciampa feud would be far, 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 far better than a main roster Gargano Ciampa feud.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they did it at the spoiler alert. If you care about NXT spoiler, oh no, this isn't a spoiler. This was last week. My bad. Never mind. I like how they did it where Gargano's like, or Ciampa gave a little speech about he's getting hurt, so he's going to make sure Gargano's hurt. You know?
No, that actually was yesterday's taping.
You're right. Or Thursday's taping, Tuesday's taping, or Wednesday's taping. Wow.
No, it was yesterday. It was
okay.
Thursday. It happened. So,
okay.
But I mean, it's yeah. So,
I would have kept them together and brought them up on the main roster because the main roster needs tag teams, especially with Revival hurt on Raw. But I am more than okay with this being the semi-main event or third from the top at Brooklyn. I mean, Brooklyn, it looks like it's going to be Gargano Ciampa. It looks like it's going to be Asuka Ember Moon. It looks like it's going to be quote insert power face here versus Bobby Roode.
Probably Roddy Strong, but
probably Roddy Strong, maybe Drew
McIntyre. Maybe Drew McIntyre,
but probably Roddy Strong. Either way, Brooklyn will take a hell of a show. So I get why they did that.
And
God damn it, Ciampa, that's your friend.
This match had a lot of great spots that really helped to make this even more surprising. I mean, the ladder to the face that Gargano took was one, but the TFI bringing up the jumping off the giant ladder through the other two ladders in stereo there, that was great. Hanging off of the off the rack thing that was holding the title belts up after AOP kicked the ladder out from under them. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
They did this match so well.
Yeah, they did. Whoever put it together, we give them shit for putting together bad matches all the time, and we will when we talk about the opening match of the next show, which was put together horribly. But whoever put this match together did a very good job. Props to them. Props to all 5 of the men in this match for doing their job admirably.
Yeah.
This was a good match.
I will absolutely say AOP for maybe they may be green, but they know how to sell well and then come out of it well too. That
they're getting better.
The slam, the Ciampa grabbing Rezar and slamming him through the ladder so hard that the ladder broke.
Yeah.
That worked insanely well. Akam. I mean, the spot where he had the ladder on his head and they did meet in the middle on him, yeah, it's ridiculous, but he sold it like a champ. Just completely stupefied by the hit and just collapsing, perfectly well done on their part. They clearly have that part of their game down.
Look at this match, them selling compared to them selling in the elimination match against DIY and the Revival, and how much better they are in this match than they were 3 months ago or 5 months ago or whatever it was. Light years better.
Yeah, 100%. It's insane. And
they're putting the work in. I'm going to give them props. They're putting the work in. They're getting better at this. You can tell.
Grabbing them off the rack and then double power bomb, super collider, double power bomb. Great. I like that finish a lot. I really do. Because for one thing, you had that great emotional high that you really need to have in that kind of a match. The great emotional high and then the crash down ending. Really, really well done. Psychologically, again, you talked about a great, well put together match. That part of it is probably my favorite thing because, you need to have an emotional crescendo to have a good main event, and that was a fantastic way to build up that emotional crescendo.
I thought they were going to win. Not going to lie.
Yeah,
I fully admit sitting there on my couch cheering, thinking they were going to win.
Yeah. I mean, me being a fan of AOP and not wanting to see their title reign cut short, even I was like, wow, they actually might make them 2-time champs. This is crazy. I thought it might happen, and I actually would have been okay with it too.
Because I would have been okay with it too, because they wouldn't have lost per se. Losing in a ladder match isn't like tapping out or being pinned. But I'm okay with this.
Yeah. But then,
how hot will that Brooklyn crowd be?
Oh,
my God.
It's going to be ridiculous. I mean, I was at the first Brooklyn takeover, and being part of that crowd when everybody lost their goddamn shit when Bayley pinned Sasha.
Yep.
Like
You know what? That reminds me. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm seeing this woman. She's awesome. I like her a lot. I want to show her a wrestling match. And I've talked about this before. I want to show her a match that would introduce to her why wrestling is the greatest. So if you have any ideas, Brother Chris, and anyone else, of matches to show her, lay them on me. I got some time.
Bailey Sasha won.
The first one. See, I was thinking Sasha Becky from the one we talked about from the May 2015 show.
I like that one too, but I think that the
Bailey Sasha, the one in Brooklyn, or which one is Bailey Sasha won?
The one in Brooklyn, where Bailey won the title.
That's in 2016, or that's in what, 2015, right?
2015, yes.
Okay, and that's on the network, so I can watch it on my TV, which is good. For sure, it's gonna, when I finally get my copy of Wrestle Kingdom 9, it's gonna have to be Nakamura Ibushi, because that is just a masterclass of why wrestling kicks ass. You talk about story and call back to the G1, which I'll have to mention to her, but I think in a vacuum, Bailey Sasha 1 may be the way to go. Yeah,
it's a great match, and also I think showing, I mean, just for my sake, showing her a women's wrestling match, showing that it's more than just, you know, giant muscle-bound sweaty dudes throwing each other around, is a great way to start, because breaking people's preconceptions about wrestling is one of my favorite things to do, and that's a great way to start.
Is it the main event of the 2015 Takeover?
The main event was the ladder match between Balor and Owens.
Oh yeah, that had no chance of following that. I remember that. No chance.
Well,
I remember that.
To be fair, you know, who would have thought that, you know, that Sasha and Bayley were going to put together the match that they did? And on paper, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens ladder match sounds great. You know, it's unfortunate that it didn't work out the way that it was supposed to, but you know, it still sounds great.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That is Brooklyn 1, right?
Yes, Brooklyn 1.
Brooklyn. I'm pulling up the page right now.
Yeah.
Takeover Brooklyn. This match is great. I remember this match.
We do have to talk about this heel turn though. That Tommaso.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, it was well played, Triple H.
How about him sitting there the entire time, just looking at Gargano?
His head in his lap.
Yeah.
Sal. Yeah, the visual is perfect.
Oh my gosh, the visual is just, and Gargano with just the look of just despair and pain. And it's not, and you know what it is for him? It's not the physical pain, which I'm sure was manifold. It's the emotional pain. It's the spiritual pain of his brother just stabbing him in the back.
There are very few people in the world.
Damn it, Ciampa!
There are very few people in the world who can successfully pull off that kind of emotional turmoil. I mean, the only other one I can think of,
and very few in the world of professional wrestling, where there are many bad actors.
The only one who I can think of that even comes close when it comes to recent memory is when and this may have seemed minor in the moment, but you know, Becky Lynch sold it like a freaking Oscar-winning actress when Natalya turned on her after they had that tag match at that I forget which show it was at, but they had a tag match. I think it was at a pay-per-view, I think, against Charlotte and Dana Brooke. And Natalya turned on her after the match, and they did the post-match interview with Bayley and with Becky, and Becky was basically almost in tears, and it was perfect. Her acting in that segment was perfect. You know, so Becky pulled it off very well, and Johnny Gargano pulled it off amazingly well here, and this feud is going to be incredible when it finally comes to a head. I mean, it seems like they're both going to be taking a little bit of extended time off because they think they both have injuries that they need to recover from. But it's when it does finally get ignited in earnest, this feud is going to be the hottest thing going in WWE.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. I cannot wait. And as a fan of the Psycho Killer and a fan of his work on the Indies, it's having Gargano sell those knee strikes is going to be so great. So that will be fun. But again, Ciampa, you scoundrel, you dirty, dirty cur. How could you?
And now we move to saying
a much worse show.
I know we say, how could you WWE in putting on following Takeover with this pile of shit?
You know, you talk about the road not taken, you know, the Robert Frost poem.
Yeah.
I could have gone to the show and dropped $100 for a ticket, Thank you, Jesus. I did not go to this show and spend $100 on this show. I would have been so pissed with myself.
The unwritten follow-up to that Robert Frost poem is sometimes there's a good reason that the road less traveled has been less traveled.
Yes, exactly.
This show.
All right.
Our good friend 14 Fitzpatrick, he's mentioned that he actually enjoyed this show, and I understand. Obviously, different things make different people excited in professional wrestling. We've talked about that on a number of occasions, but for George and I, this was not a good show.
No, and it started off with an anti-bang.
It started
off with Aiden English's awesome Vincent Van Gogh Starry Night tights. I would have put his ass over on the spot if I was Vince McMahon and I saw him come out in those. I would have been like, call it audible, damn it. You're putting over the guy with the cool pants. Speaking of English, we don't talk a lot about him. I like him. I like his character. I like his gimmick. If you're gonna push a jobber heel, I'd rather push him than Jinder. But Aiden English has the misfortune of being born in Chicago, not Calcutta, so I get it. You know?
Wow.
So I get it, but if you're gonna push a lower card heel with a great physique who can actually wrestle and actually cut a promo and get over, I mean, in English
you could do worse. You could absolutely do
a lot worse.
Yeah, and
or you could not push a jobber, but whatever. That ship has sailed.
He's got a good grasp on his gimmick, and I like that about him a lot. He understands what he's doing, and he knows how to transmit it well and make it work. So props to Aiden English for that. But yeah, Dillinger won. Then it wasn't really a big deal. And then we had the true opening to the show of Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler. Let me ask you a question, George. Let me ask you a question.
I rock trivia.
Yeah. Well, here's one for you, and this should be a no-brainer. You should knock this one out of the park. What is the one thing that you do not do with a performer who is supremely over with the crowd?
Have him sell for 45 minutes.
Exactly.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the one thing Dolph Ziggler's really good at?
Flopping around.
Yes, taking crazy ass bumps and flopping around.
Selling death.
Yes. What's the one thing Shinsuke Nakamura's really good at? Killing fools.
Delivering death.
Why was this match not just like a 7-minute squash?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Heat segments. Why did Ziggler cut off? Okay, you know what? My favorite match in 2016 was Nakamura Zayn. Excuse me, my second favorite match. My favorite match was when DIY beat Revival in Toronto for the belt. My second favorite match was Zayn and Nakamura from Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what made that match great? Because it wasn't Shinsuke Nakamura wrestling a WWE match. It was Sami Zayn wrestling a New Japan match.
Yeah.
Right?
I still love the story of that, about they didn't even put it together beforehand. They just went out and winged it. That's perfect.
Exactly.
That's exactly a Nakamura thing.
Over agenting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this match was just way too long, way too many heat segments, way too much bullshit, way too many chin locks and other stupidity. All anybody wanted to see all anyone wanted in the building was sing during Nakamura's entrance, pop for the Kinshasa, pop for the yayo at the end.
Mm-hmm.
No one else cared about the rest of that shit.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want. Why does this company hate their audience?
Here's a question. I mean, let's think about this. Dolph Ziggler, at this point, for all intents and purposes, has hit his pinnacle in WWE. He's done what he came there to do, and now he's just riding out the rest of his career.
That's it.
And at this point, very few people are left that truly, genuinely care about this guy. So, what exactly is the point to just have going out there and giving him these segments of looking like he's a badass? Because not doing anything for anybody else. It's exactly what you said. It's a heat sink. It's the worst. And Dolph doesn't need that. He's not benefiting from this. He's not getting anywhere. I mean, his position on the card is basically set for life. He goes out there, he puts people over, and that's it. So why even bother? Why bother having him look like he's a badass against the guy who you want to be like a major player on the brand going forward? If you want somebody to be a major player and you know that the crowd is over for them and is over for them being a dominant force, you don't then send that major player out there to sell for a dude who's gonna be in the mid card for the rest of his goddamn life.
Yep.
It's pretty simple. I'd like to think that this is not that is not more involved than that.
SmackDown's lost right now, and once we run through this card, I want to talk about SmackDown for a little bit.
Yeah,
but they are lost in the wilderness right now as a show.
Yeah, well,
so,
we
explains that.
There was one significant bright spot to this.
Yes,
and it's this next match.
And it's this next match.
The Usos versus the Fashion Police / Breezango.
Everyone is going to laud the Fashion Police. You know what? I'm going to laud them too. You know what makes them funny?
There are a lot of things that make them
funny. They're not trying to be funny. There's nothing worse than trying to be funny and doing shitty, badly written sketch comedy. These guys are actually funny. They seem like funny guys doing funny shit, and it's funny, as opposed to wrestlers who can't act doing unfunny shit, and it's bad, which you see all the time of.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They did a bunch of dumb shit to pop the crowd, but at the end of the day, they're pretty good wrestlers, too.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about Brooklyn 1. Tyler Breeze got a solid match out of Jushin Liger, who's, like, older than you and I put together at this point.
Yes.
Like, these guys can go. But they're also funny, and they get each other, and they have great chemistry together. And you know what? Props to the MF and Usos. They're on fire right now, both in the ring and they get their gimmicks. I love all four of these guys. I wish these four could feud for a little bit longer. Unfortunately, it seems like they're kind of going away after the SmackDown we just had.
Yeah, which sucks.
Unfortunate. But the Usos are pretty great. I'm all in for an Usos New Day feud as long as the New Day doesn't win.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be a great thing to do. I mean, it's more a question of where do you go after that. But yeah, I mean, you basically said what needed to be said there. I mean, this match, everything about this match worked well. I mean, it was ridiculous with the disguises and the costume change and all that stuff. But you know what,
guys, we're watching guys pretend to fight.
Yeah,
sometimes it's ridiculous. Like, not every match needs to be Shibata headbutting people in the face over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not every match should be a comedy match, otherwise you get like DDT. But like, every now and again, it's okay to have fun at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be super serious. And it helps that all four of these guys are good wrestlers. You could not have a match like this if you had crappy wrestlers.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of, I like the end of the match they had on SmackDown with the blind tag into the frogs, the splash. But
yeah,
I don't want to get lost.
Yeah. No, that was
very. Oh, you have anything before we talk about Sami Zayn, Corbin?
No, you pretty much covered it. Yeah, like you said, I am also hoping that we get a little bit longer, but it seems like this program is gone, which is unfortunate because Breeze and Dango they sold the hell out of this gimmick and they've made it work. And
they've invested in it. Now I'm invested in it.
Yeah, and this is one of the things we always talk about with WWE, where they're not using their performers and their strengths, and this is going to be a case where they're not going to use Breeze and Dango in their strength, which is that right now people are hot for this gimmick and they should be utilized further, even if it's not in a title program. You find the time to put them on the card, or at least somewhere on the show.
Agreed.
Or even on social media. That's not that hard.
Agreed. I like them a lot, and I wish them nothing but the best, and they entertain me. And you know what? This shit's entertainment. So entertain me. You can entertain me by having an awesome match like Keith Lee or Donovan Dijak did, or like Bate and Dunn did, or you can entertain by being entertaining like these guys did. At the end of the day, I'm still entertained. I'm happy with it.
Yep.
So, Sami Zayn defeated Baron Corbin. Do you have any deep, overarching thoughts on this bad boy, Brother Chris?
No. I mean, it's a good thing that Sammy got a win. I'm happy with that. But I mean, what's the point? I mean, you've basically guaranteed that everybody's going to be predicting Corbin as the winner of Money in the Bank, because as we've seen in previous years, it always ends up being that the guy who wins Money in the Bank is on a huge losing streak going into it. That's just the way that it goes. And that's what it looks like it's going to be here. So you're going to have everybody predicting Corbin as the winner. And I mean, these guys are good workers. They work well together.
Yes.
They,
Sami Zayn's one of the best in the world still. So,
yeah.
I'm not a Baron Corbin fan in the ring. I like his character. I love him on Talking Smack.
Yeah.
I love his give no fucks character. He does that really well.
He has moments in the ring. He has
true. True. He does have moves that I like. I like the
He's got a great
finisher. I like his finisher and the deep six. They're both pretty great.
Setup move, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, he's not going to be turning in, 6-star matches at the Dome anytime soon either.
No.
But that's not here nor there. God, this woman's 6-woman tag. God, why? Getting everybody on the card is the worst thing. I mean, we've talked. You've gone on about this enough times, and yeah, it's the worst. Dirt worst.
I hate it.
And for Carmella to be the one who scored the win, too.
No, it was Natty with the sharpshooter.
Oh right, yeah, Natty scored the win, and then Becky got the win back the following night. That's what it was.
Because we got a 50-50 everything in this company.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah. So that was a thing.
Yeah. The less said about this match, the better. Just whatever. This match, I did not like at all.
AJ AJ lost to Kevin Owens via count out.
God, because God forbid we have a clean finish on a pay-per-view. I
don't understand why you would keep this feud going though. I mean, it seems clear that both guys are destined for other things. Why would
other
you keep
things? We're in the era of the Maharaja, Chris.
Both of them are Money in the Bank, so why would you keep this little side feud going? I mean, you've basically declared the United States Championship worthless because you have Kevin Owens going after another title and not even bringing up the fact that he's holding the U.S. title.
Exactly. Right. I would have been all in on.
Just after he defended it on pay-per-view.
I would have loved the AJ Styles U.S. Open Challenge.
Yeah, that would have been great.
The John Cena U.S. Open Challenge.
Yeah.
I would have wanted it to end better than the Cena Open Challenge did, but I would have been okay with this.
I mean,
instead we got a fuck finish. What are you doing here?
We talk about making the titles worth something, and that's a great thing to do. Because I mean, as we've discussed, the WWE Championship right now is worth jack and shit. But I mean, making it great at the expense of a secondary title, which has been the story of both the world title and the universal title for the past year, that does not achieve a goal. That does not achieve any goals. Because I mean, you can't sacrifice one thing to build up another. It needs to be done through other means. This is not the way to do it. So it was an okay match. I'll give you that. It was a pretty good match.
Yeah,
but could have definitely been something else. Could have been better.
Hey, get this. You have Flow Slam, right?
No, actually, I don't. The funny thing is, I was thinking about subscribing. But they just announced that they're raising their prices.
I was about to say, I saw this on Twitter. They raised their prices from $20 to $30 a month.
Mm-hmm.
$30 a month.
Yeah,
it seems like a lot.
Three times the price of the WWE network.
It's 4 times the price of New Japan. New Japan's like what, $8 a month after the translation exchange rate.
Yeah, yep. It's about $8 a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 times the price of Stardom World.
Yeah, I just posted the link in our live thread, and thanks everyone for talking with us in the live thread. It makes us a lot of fun. We like hanging out with y'all.
Yeah.
$30 a month. That's a lot.
It's not.
I love me some Evolve, but I'm not paying $30 a month for Evolve. No chance. I pay $30 a month to go to an actual show, and I go to a show.
Yeah, I mean, if I have $150 to drop at some point, maybe I'll pick up the year-long subscription. But There's, I'm not going to say that they're overvaluing the product because the product definitely has its place, but I don't know if this is necessarily the best price point for them. I know they have to turn profit. I know they have to make the streaming service worth it, but this may not be the smartest move for them. Even if they are looking to keep their numbers up following the drop from Mania Week.
Agreed.
This still may not be the best way to go about it.
Do you care at all about Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan?
I mean, I care, but I wish it had been better. I mean, that's the thing. I like both Harper and Rowan, and we talked about when we talked last week. We talked about how these guys were getting into the right alignments, and then, they had this match, but this match had no heat to it. Nobody cared about it, and and they didn't even do anything with them this week on SmackDown to further the storyline. And I have a feeling that neither one of these guys are going to be prominently featured, which sucks. Because they're both great wrestlers, they both are great characters, and they deserve to get some sort of recognition for the fact that they took a shit spot and a shit gimmick for their feud and tried to turn it into something good. And instead, they're getting no recognition, no reward. So that sucks, but that's what it is. And then finally, the reason for the title of tonight's podcast, the World Heavyweight Championship match.
Randy Orton throwing around 100-pound Bollywood boys always makes me smile.
Yeah. Oh God, I almost just killed that man. Look afterwards.
The best part was I threw that man and he landed on his head like he's the Indian Sabu. And I'm going to try not to laugh, and I'm going to grab my shoulder and pretend to sell. Randy Orton, you're the best. I both love and hate you at the same time.
You're the best.
Spot Orton, he had his working boots on though. We give him shit for dogging it. He didn't dog this match. He had his working boots on because Jinder Mahal's not very good at professional wrestling, and this was a good professional wrestling match. And I'm going to give that prop to Randy Orton. And by the way, speaking of Randy Orton, now that it is over. How unbelievably shitty was his title reign? It started with the WrestleMania projection match, which may be one of the 10 worst WrestleMania matches of all time.
Can we expunge this title reign from the record books forever?
It continued through the House of Horrors, which is my leader in the clubhouse for worst professional wrestling match of 2016 or 17 and 16. Fuck it. All the years. And it continued with him losing to Jinder Mahal, who sucks. I'm sorry, people. I know some people said we want something different, and I know a lot of people are ironically cheering for Jinder Mahal because that's what we do in 2017. We ironically cheer for stuff. Case in point, the man sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We ironically do things because we want to watch the world burn. So we're going to cheer for Jinder Mahal. I get it. The presentation for Jinder has been fine. The presentation's actually been good. The problem is the guy's bad at professional wrestling.
Yeah, the execution is...
Which is a problem when you're a professional wrestler.
The execution is piss poor.
Yes. Like the celebration on... The celebration was pretty cool. And then he started talking and people didn't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, although I will say, I'm still laughing about the fact that they were giving having him give a heel promo, people are friggin' cheering for him. That was I can only wish that I had been a fly on the wall backstage as Vince McMahon was losing his goddamn mind, saying, "Why aren't these people hating the foreigner? Why? Damn it, Triple H, why?" That's my terrible Vince McMahon impression.
No, yeah, I enjoyed this match. It was fine.
Yeah,
it wasn't great. It was fine. I want to talk about SmackDown.
Yeah, go ahead, please. I'm gonna sit back. You.
Okay. I have words on SmackDown, and don't sit back. But we're gonna have a little conversation.
Okay, fine. I'll keep my mic.
I am biased. You know what helped make SmackDown great? Its centerpiece was a guy who everyone enjoyed, and a guy who filled the desired role of not being Vince McMahon's square peg jammed through a round hole against all logic and reason in AJ Styles.
Right.
When they shifted the focus to fucking swamp magic voodoo and jobber title reigns designed to make money from people who don't give a shit about shoot wrestling, who care about kayfabe, and that's if they have the disposable income to buy your network and your T-shirts in the first place, which are two premises I doubt very much, given the socioeconomic status of South Asia. When they shifted the focus on that, when we got Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and Jinder Mahal as our champions instead of AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, or anyone else, that's a problem. Let's talk about this SmackDown World Championship, my friend. I'm going to give you 5 names.
Yes.
These 5 guys. You ready?
Yeah.
AJ Styles, John Cena, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal. These are the 5 men who've held the WWE World Championship since late January of 2017. They've had 5 title changes in 4 months. We're starting to get to Vince Russo in 2000 territory with this belt being hot potatoed from guy to guy.
That's a bad place to be.
Bad territory, right?
That is a bad place to be.
Ever since they hot shotted the belt off of Cena to get it to fucking mumbo jumbo Bray Wyatt, this show has fallen off a cliff. Wile E. Coyote style. Let's talk about the tag titles.
Oh boy, here we go.
Later and Rhino, who defended it once and barely showed up on TV, before losing to Uso and Harper for a month, who then lost to American Alpha, who were on the side of a milk carton, until the Usos beat them the week before WrestleMania. That belt didn't make WrestleMania.
Nope.
And that belt also mostly vanished off TV until a comedy duo got skits and managed to kill them. Forget building anything. Just make television. Just make air. Make the TV. You know what I'm saying? Forget trying to build a tag team division. Just get on television.
In the first place, yeah.
Let's talk about the women. Okay? If I'm wrong here, correct me. I don't think I'm wrong here. I wrote this down. Becky Lynch won the title.
Yes.
Had a non-clean retention over Alexa before losing at Survivor Series. Lost her first pay-per-view defense.
No, it was not a Survivor Series. It was,
the October show. Excuse me.
TLC. No, it was December. TLC.
December. You're right. I'm sorry. Chased Alexa for months in gimmick matches that Alexa cheated to win. This was fine. I'm okay with heels cheating to win. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Mickey Lynch. Mickey James in for a minute to distract. And then that kind of lost its way a little bit. Then Naomi came back. A sheet and held the belt, and life was good, right?
We lost you for a little bit in the middle there, but yeah, I get what you were saying. Yeah,
unannounced after being injured, won the belt a couple weeks after coming back from injury, and then got injured herself, unfortunately, which was no one's fault. Just injuries happen, right?
Yeah. Yes, that is correct.
Alexa gets the belt back, holding the tights, killing Becky Lynch's chase dead while Naomi is injured, right?
Yes.
The division becomes a blob of faceless, voiceless, formless nothingness, waiting for Naomi to come back, who wins the belt in 5 minutes of WrestleMania because we had to get Flo right on the show. Oh, and Triple H had to work the leg. Forbid anything other than Triple H masturbating in the middle of a fucking ring happen at WrestleMania. Okay?
And you say Naomi, that as a fan of
and I love Triple H.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, man. We did not need half an hour of working the leg. Nobody cared.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Naomi, by the way, starting to lose some heat. You notice that?
Just a little bit. I mean,
let's talk about these 6 women in the SmackDown Women's division. Ready? 7 women, because I'm gonna fucking include Lana here too, because fuck that. Okay. Let's talk about these 7 women. You ready?
Yeah.
You have a heel pretending to be a babyface, who the only thing she has over is the woo chant she co-opted from her dad. But she still does the exact same shit she did as a heel, even though she's a babyface.
Yep.
You have a champion who doesn't get heat in her matches and only shows emotion once a match, who has an awesome entrance, who's getting diminished responses, being pushed to the side despite being a champion in a house of fire in Naomi.
Yep.
You have a lady who does get cheered in matches and who can talk, who barely talks, and is jobbing to Natalya and Becky Lynch.
Right.
Okay? That's one side of the match. You're facing a miscast heel who can't talk at all, and it was atrocious on Tuesday night in Natalya. She was bad. She was bad, Chris. Real bad.
Real bad.
And if she's bad at wrestling, she doesn't bring anything to the table because she's not good at anything else.
Yeah. I'm sick of people saying that Natalya is good at wrestling because she's not.
She's bad. She's been in a bad stretch. And you know what? We gave Becky Lynch shit for being in a bad stretch, and it's only fair to give Natalya the same shit. Natalya has not had a good match since, what, a year?
With the exception of the no-holds-barred match against Nikki Bella, she has not had a good match since probably 2015.
She's had one good match in 18 months.
Yeah.
Maybe two if you like that Charlotte match that she had on the Toronto show before Mania 2016.
Which I did not.
Some did. I was on the fence. Some did, but fine. She's had two good matches in 18 months.
Yeah.
For a, quote, worker.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's talk about other people in this match. You had a shitty wrestler who can talk, and her manager can talk, but neither one of them do. But they work, and she's god-awful at it in Carmella.
Yep.
And you had a woman who's worse than both of those in Tamina. Oh, and Lana, who can't dance, but whatever.
We can't do anything except weight shame people because she's a piece of shit.
This is your SmackDown's women division. What the ever-loving shit is going on? What happened to this show? This show used to be appointment television. This show used to be great. But you know what? No Cena, no Miz, no Bryan on Talking Smack, AJ doing count-out finishes for the mid-card belt that nobody cares about, fucking Bray Wyatt and his swamp voodoo bullshit, Jinder Mahal and his bullshit, just utter, complete dog shit. What happened to this show?
Your guess is as good as mine, my friend, because I don't fucking know. I don't know.
I'm serious here. I am
ranting.
No,
you're serious.
But what happened? You gave the belt to Bray Wyatt, and it all went to fuck.
SmackDown used to be must-see TV. We all know this. It's well established. I mean, there was a stretch there where, there were a couple of weeks where they beat Raw in the ratings. At least 1 week for sure, where they beat Raw.
At least 1 week
in the ratings. And I mean, it was like night and day. Watching, main roster WWE. Raw was the usual dumpster fire that it has always been, and SmackDown was mostly pure gold. But ever since the Rumble. No, I can't say since
the chamber. When they gave the belt to Bray, it fell off a cliff. Like fucking Wile E. Coyote running after the Roadrunner, and he looks down and he's like, "Uh-oh," and he starts falling.
No. I wouldn't say that it's. It started to slide a little bit after the chamber, but it was still doing okay because after the chamber, it was starting to slide a little bit, but it was still passable because there was still the period where Harper was still involved in the world title feud.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. When Harper stopped being involved was when it fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Miz was still having a good feud with Dean for the IC title. No, it was actually the start of Dean Corbin, and actually that was actually started off as a good feud. The Dean Corbin feud actually started off well, those were the only two good feuds. The tag division and the women's division really just kind of it just started to really drop at that point. They were starting to crater out, but the two men's singles feuds that were going on at the top there were still pretty good. But yeah, it was definitely after Harper dropped from the world title feud, and after got clear that Dean and Corbin were getting moved to the Mania pre-show, that's when everything just kind of fell to shit. And it's really unfortunate. It really is, because we've said how many times these performers deserve better, and they do. They absolutely do. The writing on both shows is abysmal, but SmackDown proved for a good long stretch there that they were a fantastic show, and they could put together great material, and even make bad wrestlers and bad characters still be compelling in good storylines. So SmackDown is no excuse. Raw has always been a dumpster fire. It's been consistent in the fact that it's a dumpster fire and that there are only 2, maybe 3 performers who are worth watching at any given time on Raw. That at least has been consistent, and I will give them that. And at least that makes it feel
It's
okay
funny.
to say.
The two people, the two acts
terrible.
I care most about on Monday Night Raw are injured: Braun Strowman and the Revival. Nothing else on Monday Night Raw appeals to me, with the exception of Samoa Joe. I like Samoa Joe, and I'm starting to come around on Seth Rollins, which kind of terrifies me.
Oh God!
Because you talk about soulless matches, like
video game wrestler. You said it.
He's a video game wrestler, but you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, and right now Raw is the blind show, and he's the one-eyed man. I miss Braun. I miss him. I miss him in my life, throwing trees around and killing jobbers.
Yeah.
I miss the Revival.
I miss the 1 month stretch of Roman Reigns. I don't give a shit about anybody because I'm the best person in the company, and you're all going to just have to deal with it. I miss that.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I'm not looking forward to this Fatal 5-Way at Extreme Rules.
Not at all. It's going to be overbooked.
I give Finn Balor credit for at least trying to, spice things up for himself. And I mean, he's trying, despite the fact that he is also clearly subject to the same garbage that everybody else is. But yeah, I mean, the main roster is just, there's fuck all that is good about the main roster in WWE right now.
Yeah, we got problems. Thankfully, NXT is pretty great.
Yeah.
NXT is pretty great.
The trope that keeps going around on Cage Side Seats, and if you're not a member, you should become a member because you can.
Yeah, really, you should be. So you can hang out with us on Fridays and talk with us. We're bantering right now with our good people in the threads.
Yeah. Join in on the banter, and the trope that has spread on the site that I'm in agreement with is that there can only be one show at a time that is good on WWE programming.
Shows. You're only allowed one at a time to be any good.
Yeah. God, I'm dreading what's going to happen when the Mae Young Classic starts because we know that that's going to be amazing. There's too much talent in that pool to not be amazing. It's like every other show going to just hit the shit bottom at that point in time.
It's going to be a bad month.
I'm terrified. I mean, maybe I'll just watch exclusively the Mae Young Classic and just pretend nothing else exists.
You know what? You might as well. Watch what you like. There's so much good wrestling out there. You don't have to watch this if you don't want to.
I will say that the
Mae Young Classic is going to be right when the G1's happening, so you're going to be wrestled out.
Well, I do have to ask, and actually, it's 99 Maggle actually asking a good question. Do you think New Day can help to redeem SmackDown at all?
Depends.
Depends on.
I do. Are they going to be comedy wacky bootios New Day, or are they going to be the heel New Day?
I don't think it matters.
I think it'll help. I like them.
Yeah, I think that regardless of which side of the alignment scale they go on, I think that they're going to be good because, I mean, they're going to be over no matter what. People are going to cheer them no matter what they do. And it's, I mean, even if break
up the monotony of the show because they're a highlight of the show, especially a 2-hour show.
Even if the face act is overblown and a little bit stale at this point, it still has its moments of being funny, and I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it can work. Let's jump in for some.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to New Day versus Coked Up Usos promos.
Oh God, that's gonna be amazing. I mean, the first New Day Usos feud was kind of shit, but switching the alignments around now, Usos is heel and New Day is face. That'll be fucking great.
Yeah, well,
I can't wait for that. All right, so let's jump into some Evolve results real quick. Sure. We had 2 shows over the weekend: Evolve 84 in Chicago and Evolve 85 in Detroit.
Our guy Don Sell was at Evolve 85 in Detroit.
Yeah. And he also jumped on the Keith Lee train, rightfully so.
It's a good train. It's a good train to jump on. If you have not basked in the glory of Keith Lee, ladies and gentlemen, you need to get on.
You will. Once you have seen
a great
Keith,
dude, which matters.
You will bask in Keith Lee's glory. I guarantee you that at some point. Because he's too good to not be not be publicized, and I love the I love imagining what goes on in the Ring of Honor offices every time Keith Lee goes out and has a freaking 4.5-star match with any opponent. It's like Keith Lee versus X.
Oh,
4.5 stars.
Real quick, I saw this on Twitter.
Yeah.
Someone did the math. For the cost of one Flow Slam subscription, you can get the WWE Network, High Spots, DDT Universe, New Japan World, and Stardom World. Like,
I already have.
And if you throw in the Real Hero Archive, it's another $10. So
I already have 3 out of 5 of those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sorry, Flow Slam. As much as I want to sign up so I can go back and watch the Mania weekend shows and see all the future shows that you guys have going on there, because I would love to watch me some FIP. I would love to watch some Style Battle, and I'd love to watch all of the Evolve shows that I can't go to here in New York. I'm not paying $30 a month. I'm sorry, but I can't. I have other things that I need to spend that money on. I'm going to Nova Open on Labor Day weekend. I need to save for paint for my Warhammer models, and I need to save for all of the awesome food at the food trucks in Alexandria, Virginia. So I'm sorry, but Flow Slam, you have to wait.
So I thought you liked that. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So let's see. Highlights from Evolve 84. You mentioned you saw a Keith Lee Donovan Dijak match at AAW. Well, you had another one at Evolve 84, and it's
like the touring match on the Indies.
It's the go-to.
They're like going from indie to indie and having these matches, and they're all great.
Yeah. We had a excellent Freddie High versus Jason Kincaid match, which apparently was a lot of fun. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus Jeff Cobb was apparently also very, very nice.
I like Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb's growing on me.
Yeah. I like it. The follow-up to the close of Zack Sabre Jr.'s title match from Evolve 83, where after the match, All Ego Ethan Page came down and beat the crap out of him and challenged him for the belt. We had the follow-up to that where ZSJ retained against All Ego. He retained the Evolve World Championship, and then for all you submission wrestling fanatics, definitely go find this next one. Matt Riddle defeated Kyle O'Reilly to retain the WWN Championship.
That was a damn good match, my friend.
Oh man,
I didn't get to see that live. That was a damn good match.
Then at Evolve 85 in Detroit, a rare women's wrestling match in Evolve show. Allison Kay, also known as Sienna from Impact Wrestling, showed up, had a good match against Priscilla Kelly. All Ego Ethan Page defeated Donovan Dijak with the wonderful Spinning Dwayne. I love the name of that move. I really do. Keith Lee, amazing match with Fred Yehai. I need to find that match.
I can't. Keith Lee can have a good match with anyone at this point.
Yeah. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus Kyle O'Reilly, another grapple fuck fest. Kyle O'Reilly is incapable of having a bad grappling match with anybody.
Absolutely.
He's incredible. And ZSJ over Leo Rush in a repeat of their, another callback to Evolve 83. Rematch from Evolve 83 with ZSJ retaining again, but even better match than their Evolve 83 match by all accounts. So definitely some great Evolve content there. If you don't mind paying $30 a month to subscribe to Flow Slam, you can see that stuff.
Here's my question to you. Speaking of, you have the network, I'm assuming, right? The WWE Network.
Yes, I do.
What is right now it's $10 a month. Great value. Yeah. What is the upper limit you would pay for the network? I'm curious. How much would you pay a month and still pay for it? What's your breaking point? Like, if I keep increasing the cost, at what point are you saying I'm done? I can't pay anymore for this.
$20 a month.
So
I would not pay
much for you.
Yeah, I would not pay more than $20 a month for the WWE Network, because, and here's the thing, like, as much as I love NXT and as much as I know that there is the possibility of having, other great matches happen at pay-per-views and whatnot, the other content that's on there is fantastic and all, but in the end, there are so many other great options for wrestling content that are cheaper that I can always find somebody else who has the network to go and watch pay-per-views at their house with. If I really need to do that. And I mean, the fact of the matter is WWE releases so much of their stuff for free on social media anyway, because they're trying to build that social media network, that I could just, watch the clips and catch the recaps and the Fallout videos and shit. Like, there's all that extra stuff there that I would not need to necessarily, have the network in order to see the results. And I can always read the results online. We have incredible recap threads courtesy of Cage Side. I mean, Gino does a great recap of Raw. Andrew M. Swift does good recaps of SmackDown. Reverend Kane with the live threads for all the shows that happen during the week. Sean Reuter does a good recap of NXT. We've got great writers who give me all of the.
I would go to 30 because just for the pay-per-views and NXT.
Yeah, you think so?
I think 30 is when I would start to really question my life. That I'm paying $30 a month to watch professional wrestling. I think 30, to watch this professional wrestling, but I think 30 is about where I'd stop, where I'd start to really question things.
Here's the other side of my argument of why 20 would be my upper breaking point. So right now, pay-per-views, if you go by the actual pay-per-view price model, if for some reason you don't have the network and you order it from your cable company, if you actually were going to order a pay-per-view and pay for a pay-per-view, it's $54.99 apparently. So the network right now at $10 a month is $120, which is the equivalent of basically 2 pay-per-views. So if we go by that and we then increase the price to $20 a month, that brings it up to $240 for the year, which is between 4 and 5 pay-per-views. I mean, and if you think about it, all WWE really cares about are the big 4. WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the Rumble, and Survivor Series. Those are the ones that they put the most effort and the most time into.
Truth.
Whether that is reflected in the actual product is neither here nor there, but those are the ones that they put the biggest builds into, and those are the ones that they really care about getting eyeballs on. So if I'm gonna order 4 pay-per-views, those are going to be the 4 I'm going to order, and I'm not going to pay for anything that would cost me more than it would be to get those 4 pay-per-views and pay for nothing else in the course of the year. So that's where it is for me. Also, it's a math equation for me as well.
There's no right answer. I was just curious as to what your cutoff was.
That was those. I was just giving the two sides of my reasoning. It's both of the content question and the finance question. So
I understand. I get it, and I appreciate your answer. And I appreciate you. You're a good. I
appreciate you. You're a good co-host.
How was your birthday weekend?
Uneventful, really. I mean, I went out to dinner with my mom, my sister, and my friends on Friday night. We had awesome Asian fusion, and that was really it. I had a pretty quiet rest of the birthday. We're about at that 90-minute mark, so let's just run through the current Best of Super Junior standings, and we'll get on out of here.
Block your friend and mine, Will Ospreay, the king of Latin 2.
Yeah, 8 points at the top of the block, and then it's a 5-person log jam for second place at 6 points. Dragon Lee, Marty Scurll, Ricochet, Taichi, of all people.
What matches would you recommend to people? I would recommend the Marty Scurll Will Ospreay match. Love the finish. The match itself was pretty good.
Yeah.
I would obviously recommend Dragon Lee and Takahashi. Those two cannot have a bad match.
No, yeah, definitely not.
This was not as good as their other matches, but it was still pretty freaking great. So let's. I would recommend those two for sure.
If you get squeamish about neck bumps, avoid that, because I'm convinced that Takahashi's incapable of taking bumps anywhere except his neck, but that's neither here nor there.
Surgery in 5 years is going to be a thing.
Oh God, that's going to be terrible. But Ricochet and Takahashi's rematch was also phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
If you want to catch that was a great match. Yeah, I mean, other than that, you named the other two I was thinking of. I mean, because the rest of the block is kind of
Yeah.
But there's still some good matchups that I'm looking forward to seeing the results of here. I mean,
how about the B block? Kushida and tied for last.
yeah, the B block is a weird position right here.
Kanemaru, El Desperado. I mean, what's going on?
Kanemaru and El Desperado at the top, Kushida and Bushi at the bottom. I mean,
yeah, weird.
I mean, granted, they have more matches to go through. They have 3 matches left apiece, whereas A block only has 2 matches left apiece. So it's a little bit clearer of a position in A block, whereas B block still has a little bit of ironing out to go through. But still, it's very strange. I mean, I've said this. We talked about this in the daily. I think it was earlier this week or sometime last week. No, I think it was earlier this week. We talked about this in the daily. The fact that Desperado is at the top of the B block, it's very strange. But I'm not surprised by it, and I'm not complaining about it because Desperado is quietly one of the better junior heavyweights that New Japan has, and I'm glad to see him getting a showcase spot.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement. He is coming around, my friend.
Yeah, he got good wins over good performers. He beat Bushi, he beat Kushida, he beat Taguchi. His only loss was to Volador. So I would not be opposed to Desperado winning the B block. I mean, you got a 4-way tie for second with Taguchi, Tiger Mask, ACH, and Volador, all of whom could very easily make a run in these last 3 matches and take the top. But I mean, basically, of the people who are in the B block, the only one who I would not want winning the block is Kanemaru. And I think that he's gonna fall. I think he might fall off in these last 3 matches because his last 3 matches are against Bushi, Desperado, and Kushida. So I think that
he kind of got fat early,
Yeah,
and it's
almost
like an NFL team. Almost like an NFL team will hit a soft part of their schedule, win a couple games, and then play a real team and get slapped around a little bit. I think that's going to happen to that guy.
Yeah, Yoshinobu faced ACH, Tiger Mask, Volador, and Taguchi, and of those, he only lost to Taguchi. So he definitely had the benefit of a easy early schedule. But of the B block matches, I would definitely recommend ACH Bushi. That was a fun match.
Fun, very fun.
Yeah. That's Desperado's matches against Bushi and Kushida. I would recommend absolutely, and I don't know what else. I mean, B block definitely does not have quite the glut of talent that A block does, but it still has got a good field. Definitely,
I didn't hate the Tiger Mask Volador match. It was quick and short, and it was fine. All the Volador matches have been pretty solid so far. Volador is a solid wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, all of his matches have been about 10 minutes, and he's put together good performances. I mean, for a guy who almost won the block last year, I mean, he was in that 4-way tie for first in Block B last year, and I think actually of the tiebreakers, he actually should have technically been second, I believe, or did he? I don't know how the points work out. Actually, no, because he did lose to Fish. So
we're looking at last year's.
Yeah, I'm looking at last year. So he lost to Ospreay and to Fish. So I guess he would fall down in the tiebreaker there to either third or fourth. But I mean, Volador has always been a consistently good performer, and he almost always puts in a good spot when he's in a performance like this.
Agreed.
So, that does it for us.
You got anything else, brother Chris?
No, I mean, I'll just give a quick preview of next week. We've got.
All right, what are we talking about?
We've got a primer for Extreme Rules, which is coming up the following Sunday. So that we're gonna run through all that nonsense, which is gonna be nonsense.
Yep. Yes, it will because it's Raw.
Lucha Underground is returning next week on May 31st. I imagine we'll find some way to watch that episode and give some thoughts on that.
Yes, sir.
By that point in time, we will have firmly decided the finals for the Best of Super Juniors. We'll probably give our predictions on those.
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a talk
A
about
little New Japan because Dominion is coming up real soon.
Yeah, I think we'll actually have our full Dominion talk the following week, but we'll definitely have some preliminary discussions about that, and we'll also probably have a little bit of a preliminary discussion on the Mae Young Classic because we should have. We already have an idea of some of the people who are going to be in it, so we'll definitely have some little discussions about that and what we think it's going to look like. So
that sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Should be a good show next week, and thank you to everybody.
Thanks for hanging out with us on a Friday night, everybody.
Yeah, and we will catch you next week for Two Guys One Sport episode 13. Insert snappy title here because I tend to be pretty good with coming up with those snappy titles.
Yeah, you are. I must admit, you are definitely carrying the water on that one, my friend. And they have all been quite good, quite snappy.
Thank you. So thank you guys for listening. Don't work yourselves into a shoot. We will see you next Friday, same time, same place.
Good night, everybody. Thanks again.